Hello and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning in to News9 Live. I'm Kabir Naqvi. Joining me here in the studio is my colleague and political editor, Brijesh Pandey. A very warm welcome to you. Haryana, Unrest, the aftermath of the new violence, and Vishwa Hindu Parishad that has now said it's going to resume its Yatra again on the 28th of August. That is going to be our focus over the next couple of minutes. Now Brijesh, before we introduce the panelists with us, who's a former top cop of Uttar Pradesh, let's lay bare the semantics of what has happened. So the new violence took place 31st of July. The aftermath we saw, in Rajasthan, the embers were felt in various other places, Nalhar, Gurgaon, Sonha. We saw curfews, we saw schools getting shut. We saw that rampant violence on the streets also. After that, people kept on saying that, the administration was late, it kept on sleeping. You should have seen how the social media was being weaponized. Monu Manesar, cow vigilante, so many factors at play. Now, today, after several Mahapanchayats and Panchayats and Khaps had withdrawn that letter, by gun-wielding spokesman who said that khun garam rakhna, Hindu bhaiyon ko sabko saath mein aana hai. Apart from you have the police that is looking at these speeches. They say they're monitoring the speeches, but what's really happening on the ground, nobody knows. On top of that, the third factor, and I just wanted to take a look at how one should view all these points politically, because the Yatra is again going to be taken up. It is going to be resumed, and it is going to again follow the same route. So, which means essentially all people who are saying that Nuh is such a sensitive area, now you're again going to cross through Nuh.
Well, I think, what happened there should be thoroughly investigated, not only the administrative lapses, but also what led to this particular situation. And anybody who is behind writing, strict action should be taken, irrespective of, from which side he or she is. But the fact of the matter is that once the issue has subsided, and after, those villages who have taken back their boycott call against Muslims and all in the area, I think now it is impediment on the administration to make sure that nothing of that sort happens. It's very surprising. What really surprises me is that with the Supreme Court judgment on hate speech and putting the onus on the top cops and all, I mean, these statements are being made. And when police says that, that they are looking into the statement and all, it will be very interesting to see what kind of action is being taken. Right. Now, when one Mahapanchayat says that Yatra will resume, that's absolutely all right. But if they say that the route of the Yatra is going to be same, I would see it as more of a part of instigation rather than,
seems like a back to square one situation.
It can be a back to square one situation. It can further lead to, to violence and all, because, there have been call of, as the Indian Express had published, that they wanted gun for self-defense and all.
Right.
So, I think defense and self-defense is something which should be left to the police at large, and it is impediment. It is on the administration, the police, and also the state government to ensure that nothing of that sort happens. Absolutely. Because if violence again happens, you are Faridabad, Gurgaon, they are your symbols in the world. There's an international gentry also there, and it will reflect very badly on the state government and the police administration.
Absolutely. A.K. Jain, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, he's also with us on the broadcast. But before we, expand this discussion, let's, Brijesh, listen into a reaction coming in from the police authority. There's a reaction bite coming from the SP, and then a reaction bite coming from one of the attendees at the Mahapanchayat.
जो सबसे पहले तो जो हेट स्पीच है उसकी स्ट्रिक्ट कंडीशन रखी है। अगर किसी भी प्रकार की ऐसी बात यहाँ पर की जाती है तो उस पर तुरंत मुकदमा दर्ज करके कार्रवाई की जाएगी। इसके अलावा कोई भी वेपन, कोई भी लाठी डंडा, कोई भी ज्वलनशील पदार्थ है, किसी भी प्रकार के आते जाते कोई भी संपत्ति को अगर नुकसान पहुँचाते हैं, किसी भी प्रकार का उपद्रव करते हैं, तो बहुत सारी कंडीशंस हमने इसमें इम्पोज की हैं ताकि शांतिपूर्वक ये कार्यक्रम।
महापंचायत को देखते हुए लगभग कितने नंबर में पुलिस का डिप्लॉयमेंट किया गया है? लगभग कितना नंबर से जवानों का जिनका डिप्लॉयमेंट किया गया है?
कितने लोगों की परमिशन है? परमिशन हमने
एक सवाल तो पूरा हो जाएगा।
परमिशन हमने जो बताया कि जो कंडीशंस हैं वो गैदरिंग के लिए दी गई है, उसमें कंडीशंस ये रखी गई हैं कि बिना किसी वेपन के साथ कोई नहीं। नंबर कितने शामिल होने की नंबर दिया गया? 500 की जो है परमिशन दी गई।
लेकिन वो तो 20,000
आप खुद कह रहे हैं 2000 तक आने की संभावना।
वाइंड अप करना सर, कितने बजे वाइंड अप करना, कुछ ऐसा टाइमिंग भी है?
टाइमिंग इनका जो है 2 बजे तक का है।
फैसले इस पूरे प्रकरण की जांच एनआईए करे। फैसला मृतकों को 1-1 करोड़ रुपए दिए जाएं, घायलों को 50-50 लाख। जो यहाँ पर मुकदमे दर्ज हुए मेवात में, उनका स्थानांतरण दूसरे जिले में किया जाए। ये सारी मांगे की गई हैं। और जो यात्रा है हमारी, महत्वपूर्ण बात है, जो हमारी यात्रा है वो 28 तारीख को निकलेगी हर कीमत पर निकलेगी, भव्य तरीके से निकलेगी और पूरी सबके साथ लेकर हम चलेंगे। और जो हिंदुओं की हम सबकी भावनाएं हैं मंदिर के प्रति, भगवान के प्रति, उस आस्था के अनुरूप अपनी पूजा पत्ति को करेंगे। ये इस पंचायत में तय हुआ है। यात्रा जो हमारी गुरुग्राम से है वो गुरुग्राम से चलेगी। जो ब्रज की यात्रा हमारी जैसा संगठन ने तय किया है, जिन जिन स्थानों से पहले यात्रा चली थी उन स्थानों से यात्रा दोबारा चलेगी।
उन स्थानों से यात्रा दोबारा जाएगी। A.K. Jain, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, with us on the broadcast. Mr. Jain, I just want to understand, you heard, the SP over there. How confident do you think those remarks are? And your opinion on the fact that this yatra that you and I have been, you've been coming to News9 talking to us for so long, this yatra is going to go through the same places again. Do you think that's the step in the right direction, or it's like shooting yourself in the foot?
No, it is a step, in my opinion, in the right direction. Unless and until this yatra is completed, and route cannot be changed by local administration. Route cannot be changed by local police. It is laid down in festival register, and the same route has to be followed. It can't be taken out from some other route, because that will be a violation of government order. And if something happens, SPDM, everybody will be sacked. They can't allow yatra to be taken out on some other route. No police officer, no DM is empowered to do that. Only state government can do it. State government can pass such orders under special circumstances that route is being changed, and that too after discussions with both the communities, and that is not possible. Yatra has been projected on 28th of August, and I think the best thing will be to calm down everybody. Yatra should be allowed to proceed. SPDM should remain with the procession, and it should be allowed to end peacefully. And after that, in my opinion, things will calm down in Haryana, in neighboring districts, and everybody will be at peace.
Mr. Jain, Brijesh this side. I just wanted to ask you, you heard the reporters asking the SP Rewadi questions about, number of people who are allowed. He said 500, but clearly there were much more than 500 people. And, he's saying that he's examining into the aspect whether anybody made hate speech and all. And, all the prominent, credible national dailies, Indian Express and others, they are saying that, that they are openly asking for guns for self-defense and making those kind of statements. Won't you think that the situation, if this is allowed to go any further, would further, exacerbate the situation, the ground situation in Nuh and adjoining district?
Things will settle down, in my opinion, once Yatra takes place peacefully. These Khap panchayats, you are very well aware. I have also been reading about these panchayats of Haryana. They have taken place on so many issues, on love jihad and intercaste marriages, and all sorts of resolutions have been passed through these Khap panchayats. So let me tell you very frankly, police can't do much about it, except that the local SHO can register a case against people who are speaking to disrupt communal harmony. SHO can register a case, and you can't lathi charge a Khap panchayat that more than 500 people have collected. Police also has its limitations. Even if I am SP there, I can do this much, that videography should be done, photography should be done, hate speeches, if there are any, should be recorded, and then SHO should be asked to register a case, because no one else will come forward to get a case registered, and it will not be proper also. So, and after that, decision can be taken regarding making arrests of people who have made inflammatory speeches.
You know what, Brijesh, another important aspect when we're trying to understand the aftermath of the violence in Haryana and the unrest, it's almost like an Auschwitz kind of a situation. People are asking for identification on the road. People are roaming around. There are proper vigilantism that's going on on the road. From what Mr. Jain is saying, and he's saying that there are limitations of the police as well. Politically speaking, do you think there are going to be limitations of the ruling dispensation in the day? People who are affected out there on the ground, like you suggested earlier as well, it's the poor who is affected the most on the ground. So, in terms of political challenges, what are some political challenges that the Khattar government is facing right now?
Well, I think, other than this being a dark spot on the state administration, I don't think this is going to politically harm the Khattar government that much. And, I mean, with these kind of a statement which are clear, which are coming out, and, they call for guns or the guns for self-defense and things like that. I think, I mean, the challenge for the state government would be to ensure that round 2 of violence should not take place.
Right.
And if you go by allowing or ceding all the space to these khap panchayats, then where is the end? Then if it's like conceding that you are the de facto ruler, we can't do much about it. Since we can't beat you, we'll just do the charade and be happy about it. So it's a very strange kind of a situation.
And
because all it says is that if I have support of 20,000 people, then I can say whatever I want to, because then nobody can take any action against me.
Right,
this kind of a
muscle
scenario.
power, clear, display of muscle power. Now there are, demands that are being made, and one has to note that these are demands after demands after demands. Outfits at the event, including the VHP, demanded that Nuh district in its entirety should be abolished.
Well, I think they feel that that the time has come, and this is the reason why they are pushing for they're going for the jugular. But I don't think that any government will do that because we when the violence first broke out, we saw different voices within the government. We saw Chaudhary Biren Singh speaking a different line, and we also saw the JJP, the Deputy Chief Minister, taking a different line from what Anil Vij was taken. I mean, there are contradictions within the government also, but it'll be interesting to see, how far the reach of the police has, or how far the investigation has progressed as far as Monu Manesar is concerned.
That's exactly what I was.
One of the key instigator, if I may say so,
right,
of this particular.
We all saw those videos on social media. Now the police that you were talking about, the investigation, they say police say looking at speeches. Now, just as I'm reading this line, it seems like there's a very passive approach towards it. Even as I say that, let me tell the viewers that Braj Mandal Hinsa मामले में अब तक 59 FIR दर्ज हो चुकी हैं, 230 people have been arrested, 6 people have died, 4 from Nuh, 2 from Gurugram, and at least 88 people got injured in the process. In terms of सोशल मीडिया और सोशल मीडिया पर अफवाह फैलाने के संबंध में 11 लोगों पर एफआईआर दर्ज. That's the information that we're getting. So police is also doing its job, but it seems like, I mean, where's the discrepancy is what I'm trying to understand from the statements that are coming from the police, and like Mr. A.K. Jain also said and rightly pointed out that there are limitations for everybody. It seems like there's a very passive approach, or am I looking at it from a different prism?
I think the purpose of the police is that the police don't want to take any action right now, Kabir, which will further inflame the situation. They are hoping that let 2,000 people gather, or let more than 3 times more or 4 times more than the people who were being allowed or given permission gather, so that it douses the situation. So the police doesn't want to inflame the situation, but it'll be very interesting to see how the procession takes out on 28th. If the state government, state administration allows that Jalabhishek Yatra on that particular route, I think that is going to be a challenge for the police. And if everything happens peacefully, then, well, I mean, all well that ends well, but the challenge is going to be there for the police, because I think in every such gathering you will always find a couple of people who will speak out of turn, who will make inflammatory statement which has the potential to torpedo the entire effort which has been taken by the state and the administration to calm down the tempers and diffuse the situation.
Absolutely. And Mr. Jain, he did come on our show, and the first Friday when the prayers, there was a big call that don't carry out or conduct these prayers out in the open. Mr. Jain was one of the first people who said that had I been in the position of the SP or the DM, I would have made sure that prayers happen in the open. You need to establish that sense of normalcy again. Absolutely. And sir, I rightly concede that carrying out with this yatra and ending this yatra is going to be, I think, the final how you essentially put these fears and the mistrust to bed. But Nuh, again being that sensitive area, you said this route can't be changed. Is it so? I mean, does the rally really have to cross through Nuh when we know that it's so sensitive? There is no remedy, no procedure that the police or the DM can take up? It is sensitive, isn't it?
No. They are not empowered. They are not empowered. I have put in 37 years of service in UP. DM and SP are not empowered to change the route. They cannot do it. If something happens, they will be sacked. I am 100% confident that after all this action, now nothing will happen in Nu. SP and DM should lead the procession. They should ask the Nu people, the sane people of Nu, to accompany the yatra, to welcome it. In UP, it happens. They throw flower petals on yatris. Hindus also do it. Muslims also do it, and vice versa. So this happens. If you talk, DM and SP have an authority over the people of the district. If they talk to the people that it's going to be taken out, and we invite you, we request you to join it and to welcome it, and nothing will happen. And I am 100% confident, 200% confident that not even a stone will be thrown, because the prominent people of Muslim community of Nu will be present with the procession. They will welcome it, and it will pass off peacefully. And once it passes off peacefully, then tempers will cool down. Nothing will happen. No weapon should be allowed by police and district administration to be carried by the yatris. No weapon, no lathis, nothing. Police should be there to provide security. No weapons, rifles, man. There should be a notification in advance. There should be an order in advance that nobody should come armed with weapons.
You're absolutely right, sir. Sir, the only thing is, with all due respect, sir, police was present last time around as well. There was lack of boxing technique.
No, last time police was not present. Police was caught napping. The entire intelligence and administration were caught napping.
So essentially, the bigger challenge this time around will be, number one, how do you ensure the safety of people vis-a-vis balancing the fact that freedom of religion and freedom of expression has to remain on the ground?
Well, I think, balancing act is like police has already seen what has happened, and the crackdown will ensure that, that both sides will make efforts to ensure that there is no violence on the ground as far as taking out this procession is concerned. Last time, it was not the procession which was the trigger. It was the trigger that there were videos which said, which was attributed to Monu Manesar, which triggered a raw nerve in the community, and that is the reason why there was so much violence when it took out. I don't think any of such thing is happening, and I also don't think that had that not been that particular video in which the call has been that I will join in, and if anybody has the guts to stop me, he can make an attempt and all. If those kind of videos are not there, I don't think anybody had a problem against the Jalabhishek Yatra. So I agree with Mr. Jain that yes, this time chances of violence.
Communities were instigated 100%. Public sentiment, I mean, even as we wrap this conversation and the latest updates that we have given to the viewers, the public sentiment, that seems to be ever changing. These everyday developments that we're picking up, someday it's Palwal, someday it's Panipat, one day it's Nalhar, then you have information coming in from Sona. The public sentiment keeps on changing. How does one decode that?
Well, the public,
which is going to be of grave importance to Manohar Lal Khattar and the ruling dispensation, isn't it?
I don't think that this is going to be politically damaging for the ruling dispensation. I don't subscribe to that. But yes, as a state chief minister, it definitely is a black spot on the way the entire thing boomeranged and all. And considering that this is so close to Gurgaon and all, we also saw international press coverage. So it brings bad press to both the country as well as the state. So I think I mean that is the negative side, and also there was a loss to property, loss and damage to the property, so many people being killed and all. So it was an embarrassing law and order situation which could have easily been avoided, if the intelligence agencies or the local CID and the police were alert to the challenge. But they didn't, and that is the reason why what happened in the first 5-6 hours or 8 hours was just spiraled out of control of police and administration. But I seriously doubt if this is going to happen again.
All right. That's again, an optimistic word coming in there for Brijesh. Mr. Jain, final word to you. Of course, you're also very optimistic that this time around no untoward incident is going to happen. But these demands, the hate speech, abolishing Nu as a district completely, where will these demands finally take the socio-economic structure of Haryana?
They will die down. These are all temporary statements which are given in the heat of the moment. We have listened, we have heard. I have been SSP Faizabad in 1991. I used to listen to such fiery speeches. I used to be scared that what will happen to the structure. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. We should have confidence. Police should have confidence. in its functioning, in its ability. District administration should gear up and should invite people. You come and you take out Yatra. Tempers will cool down like anything. There will be no khap panchayat in future, because the way things are progressing and the boycott of Muslim traders and other things, and new people must have also realized that there is no point in deteriorating the situation further, and they will welcome it. And they will welcome that all the communities should live peacefully. After all, they have to live peacefully in the state. Haryana has a typical structure. I don't know much about it, but whatever I have read, the best course, in my opinion, will be to take out the Yatra. SP should be present there, and the force should be there, and tempers will cool down. You will not hear about any panchayat, about dissolution of the district. These are all useless statements issued by people just to get some mileage. No heed should be paid to such statements. I have heard hundreds of such statements, but nothing will happen, and Haryana will get a very good name. Haryana administration, Haryana police will get a very good name, and things will die down on its own.
All right, Mr. A.K. Jain over there, former DGP, Uttar Pradesh. Many thanks for joining with us and helping us out with your insightful inputs. It seems like the larger message is that we can only hope that good sense prevails, and we can only hope that the Jal Shobha Yatra is carried out and there is no untoward incident that happens. And this time around, of course, the police can probably pick up on the lessons that it did not learn the last time around. But of course, there's a little silver lining also here, Brijesh. I was reading that one of the first Khap panchayats that withdrew the letter was actually a lady sarpanch, and this village, right at the opening, there's a mazar and there's a little mandir that's placed right below the the banyan tree as well. That's how you enter the village. So there are silver linings, there are good positive stories as well.
Absolutely. The unfortunate aspect is that there are certain individuals or organizations who would want to fish in troubled waters, and they provoke, they kind of try to make statement which will further deteriorate the situation. But I agree with Mr. Jain that that these statements are usually made to shore up your own political currency. But once the situation dies down, like once the yatra passes through peacefully and nothing happens, then you have no particular issue to make those statements. And I think the police is also alert, and the police is also aware of the fact that if the situation is allowed to spiral out of control, then they have a superior court to answer to. Because if you remember, the demolition and all which was going on, and it took a High Court judge stinging remarks by the High Court judge.
Ethnic violence. It questioned ethnic violence.
Everything to every bulldozing to a screeching halt. So I think people are aware that these suo moto observations can be made, and nobody would want the situation to exacerbate, basically.
And people have taken suo moto cognizance, be it the court, be it the executive, be it the administration, be it citizen journalists also. People have taken it up. So it's not like this is happening away from everything else. In the end, war, good God, y'all, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Brijesh, many thanks for joining with us and helping us out with the latest details. This is Kabir Naqvi signing off. News9 is the right place to be getting all the details, all the latest updates that are coming out of Nu vis-a-vis the Haryana unrest. That's all the time we have for you. Keep watching News9.
GPT. It can generate codes and human-like responses through text, write stories, and do a lot more.
I work in a newsroom with anchors, researchers and scriptwriters, graphic artists, producers, video editors, camera crew. But does a newsroom really need them today?
All of us have to think about unique and distinctive value addition that cannot be automated or repeated or replaced by a machine.
ChatGPT may kill many companies.
A human has to be in the loop with an ability to control this.
Dark Side of the Boom. Streaming now. Akshay Kumar makes his Marathi film debut in Mahesh Manjrekar's Vedat Marathi Veer Daudale Sa. what's inspired Khiladi Kumar to foray into new terrain. Playing iconic Maratha king Shivaji Maharaj, he's jumping on a bandwagon that spells magic on the box office. Why are filmmakers in a rush to chronicle the life and times of Shivaji Maharaj?
Why do we feel the hunger, the need? Why are we compelled to make a film on Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj? And that too so many films. For a simple reason, he was the people's king.
So I think there's this herd mentality in the film industry. One film clicks, then there's a line of producers who announce films with similar storylines.
Personality that has not been adequately explored on the big screen.
I think among filmmakers the craze is because the Marathi audience is somehow inclined to seeing films about the life and times of Shivaji Maharaj, and several films in the recent past based on his life or based on some chapter of his life have done well, you know.
Now we see in the last 10 to 15 years that historical subjects have made a remarkable comeback. So here is a personality and a remarkable personality that hasn't been explored in the new era. I think that's the reason a lot of filmmakers are tapping into Chhatrapati Shivaji's life in order to depict it on the big screen and on OTT platforms and other such platforms. One other factor that is also responsible for this series of movies on Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is that ever since Prime Minister Narendra Modi's dispensation has come in 2014, there have been previously neglected historical figures around whom there has been plenty of discussion, whether it is Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, whether it's Veer Savarkar, whether it's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj.
The rising number of films on Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is also directly linked with the current political mood in Maharashtra.
So we have been depending on these stories which are borrowed. Our heroes have been borrowed, our icons have been borrowed. Where are our real icons? Where are our real heroes? It is high time that we go back to our text, our scriptures, our history.
A film with authentic history of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. I am damn sure that it will be one of the biggest hit ever of Bollywood industry.
Shivaji Maharaj's valorization in pop culture began in the 1970s.
Most of the 8 films released in the last 2 years have been successful. Pawan Khend, of course, was a huge hit, but most of the films based on the life of Chhatrapati Shivaji have done well at the box office. So I think this is the primary reason why so many films are being made.
When we talk about the history of India,